Embroidery.com. Welcome to this week's product demo. Today I'm going to be showing you how to bead. I've had so many requests for this video, so let's jump right in. Okay, first off, needles. So Mill Hill has two different types of beading needles. These short ones, the applique beading needles, or these long ones. Now, I prefer the long ones. Can I give you a really legitimate reason? No, I can't. It's just what I like. I've used both, and I just like the long ones. I don't really have a reason. That's just the ones I like. They usually end up bent while I'm stitching, while I'm beading. Not sure why. Evidently, I like to push on them. So, you know, there are a bunch of different types. DMC has some beading needles as well. Just use them and, you know, find your favorite and which one you prefer. Now, when it comes to beading thread, so there's some Nymo thread, there's this YLI thread. However, you know, I just use DMC. I will either use white or black, depending on the bead, or if it's like a dark color bead, like a purple or something, then I'll use a purple that matches it, so you won't see the beading thread. You know, the beading needles are quite small. However, the Nymo, the YLI, or even your DMC, one strand of DMC will go right through the eye. And it's totally fine. So again, another personal preference. Use them, figure out which one you like, and you know, go from there. Now, one of the most amazing things for beading that I have found is tacky bob. Years ago, I would take like blue painter's tape and wrap it around tacky side out around my scroll frame and then put my beads on it. Tacky bob, you don't have to. So he's tacky on both sides. He's got a cute little magnet in there to put your beading needle. And then I just like pour all my beads in different spots around there. I can just lay that right on my scroll frame, pick them up as I'm going, and I can bead right from there. I love tacky bob. The covers come in all kinds of different styles. There's all kinds of different things on the covers, which is really, really fun. So I love tacky bob. So there's some other tacky mats as well. This cute little small one and this larger one. Now, the cool thing about this is it's tacky on both sides, so you can put it on your stitching and it'll kind of stay there, and then you can put your beads on it. Another great thing about this one is washable. So you use it, it's all dirty or whatever, you wash it and it's totally clean and you can reuse it. It's still tacky. So that is a really nice thing about these tacky mats. Okay, so next, bead storage, which is really a huge thing. You know, once you start beading, you will see your collection will just grow and grow and grow. So a couple of the systems that we have available is this really nice one here. You've got a bunch of different little containers for each one, different sizes for all the different sizes of beads and stuff. They have labels. You can put the bead number right on it. Lid goes on and it will, the two little clamps on the side will just hold it. So I love this one. These cute little ones are what I use. I love them. They're kind of like little Tic Tac containers. Let me see if I can get one out. Come on. Goodness. So it's got the little lid that flips up. I grabbed some labels and wrote the number on, and they just fit right in there. So I like that. I love this little case. This little case, again, it's got the little containers, several different sizes. It's got some tweezers in there as well as a cute little spoon, plus a handle. So I love this one. So, okay, so that is the products and supplies that I use to do beading on my cross stitch. So now let's jump and I will show you how to add beads to your stitching. Okay, I've got my beads here, my little cute little Snapdragon Pixie. If you've been watching our sit and stitch videos, you'll know that I've been working on this one for like 2 years. I only stitch on it on Wednesday nights, so she's taken me a while. Okay, so let's get started. Got my pattern here. Okay, so I'm going to start like always. I'm going to slide under Okay, we are ready to go. So I've put some of the beads in my cute little tacky bob. I'm using just some purple thread that matches my beads along with my beading needle. Now there are a couple different ways you can position a bead. Let me show you what I prefer. I like the way it looks when they're tilted, when they're just stitched on with a half stitch. So tilted when they sit that way. Now you could come back and do the full X. So I did the bottom, I'd come back through it here and come back through the bead and then go down here. So do the full X in the bead, and that will make it sit up and down. And I like it when they sit tilted or with just a half cross stitch in it. Again, it's really personal preference. I just like the way it looks. Maybe I'm tilted and that's why I like it. I don't know, but see, I just like the way it looks when it's like that. Now, a lot of times when you're beading, you know, there will be times when it's, you know, really close together. Oftentimes they'll be several spaces apart, which is fine. So you can travel when they're like that. That's not a problem. Unless it's like a really significant difference or distance. You know, like if we're talking like an inch or more, inch and a half, then I would slide under, go a bit closer. That way you just don't have travel lines that long. You know, but sometimes that you just can't help it. You have to travel. You know, you don't have anything close enough. And that would be when you would definitely, you know, decide what kind of thread you're going to use so you don't see that travel thread on the back side. So I love adding beads to stitching. A lot of times I would, if a pattern doesn't have it, I will add it, especially in place of French knots. I have a distinct dislike for French knots. So we got one right there. So I will always, almost 100% of the time, change any French knots to beads because I don't like them. So, and beading just adds just another beautiful element to your stitching. Okay, so I am done. Oh, no, I gotta come over here. Now, when you get it framed, I'm sure when you go to any professional framer, they will take into consideration that you have beads on your stitching because you'll want to add a spacer so the glass isn't sitting on your beads. Because, I mean, the last thing you'd want is for the glass to sit on it and pull it, you know, crooked like that. You'd want these to be, you know, exactly how they're looking right now. So they will add a spacer between your stitching and the glass. One of the easiest ways to add, excuse me, to add a spacer is by doing layered mats and adding the spacer between mats, which just has such an elegant look. So when you take it in to get it framed, just keep that in mind, especially if you've got a lot of beads and stuff on your pretty stitching. A lot of times I will even add beads to the design. You know, they'll have, you know, swoops and swirls and whatever, but I'll accentuate them because I love beading. I think it's just so much fun. I love treasures and stuff as well. The crystal treasures from Mill Hill, or they have just really pretty flowers and just circles and all kinds of fun other embellishments you can add. Now again, I don't stitch where my beads go. I leave it blank, as you can tell. Now with these beads, they are a larger size of bead. They're not a seed bead, so you can see they fill up the square completely. However, even if it is a seed bead, I have really never had a problem where it didn't fill up the square. But you can figure out exactly which way you like. If you like to leave it blank or fill it up. Now, the cool thing about these beads is they're kind of multicolored, as you can see. Now, and I'm not doing any rhyme or reason. When I pick it up, I pick it up. I am not, oh, I'm going to put a purple one here and a turquoisey one here and a, you know, I just, if I'm picking it up, that's what I'm using. So I don't really have a design. And that's the best thing about these beads in particular, is they're so multicolored that they're beautiful. I do my beading last, so I will do all of my stitching. I used to do all my back stitching last as well, but then it got to the point where I hated back stitching, so I now back stitch as I go. Otherwise, I'll never get it done because I don't like it. So I will back stitch as I go, but I will wait till the very end and do all of my beading at the end. And then what I usually will do as well is I'll get larger sidebars and extend my piece out, so when I scroll it up to finish beading, I'm not rolling the beads up. So that's also a useful tip, is right now I've got, I think these are like 8-inch sidebars. So normally I get like a 10 or a 12-inch sidebar, so you could almost see the whole design, and then that way I wouldn't have to scroll it up, scroll up any of the beads while I'm beading it. Okay, so this is how I like to attach crystal treasures. So this little flower here has a hole in the center. Now you could attach it with your, floss going over it, but then you'd see it. So if you grab a seed bead or even a petite seed bead, and you can do it in corresponding colors, or in this case I grabbed just a white opalescent bead. So you bring that down, so you've got your bead, your little seed bead there. So then you're going to go back down through the treasure, and that little seed bead is now in the center, and that is what will hold your flower in place. So, and you'll do that for all kinds of treasures like this that have the hole in the middle. If it's like a leaf or, a heart that has it at the top, then you could just go over it and it'd be totally fine, because it looks that way. But for these fun flowers, you can attach them with that cute little seed bead. Okay, so that's just a little bit about beading, adding beads to your cross stitch. So head on over to my needlework blog on Embroidery.com. I'll have close-up pictures, all kinds of info linked in there. Make sure you turn your notifications on, because that's how you'll know a new video is up. As always, I love to hear your comments and suggestions, so leave those for me below. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Happy stitching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!